quick story. A couple of years ago, I went to Ringo's 60th birthday party in New York, and he was doing a concert at Radio City. And at the end of it all, everybody got up on the stage, and Yoko was up there, and we played "Give Peace a Chance." And everybody, we were all the musicians were there, and all of a sudden, I heard this sound which literally frightened me, and it was screaming. And most of you know that most of my career I've spent in front of very big audiences, and I'm used to that sort of sound. But I'd never heard anything quite like this. And what it was Paul McCartney ran on the stage as a surprise. Nobody knew he was going to be there, and all of a sudden he ran on, and the audience just went nuclear. And this scream was almost terrifying. And I'll tell a story about it a little later, but that's Beatlemania for you. Anyway, back to the King Crimson thing. King Crimson was a very strange band, in a way. Robert Fripp, the guitar player, and myself, we went to the same guitar teacher when we were very young boys. And we used to practice our lessons together. And so, each of us knew what the other one knew. We were like two peas in a pod, really. And so that was unusual. You only find that in groups like the Bee Gees, where they grew up together, they knew each other very well. The guy who used to play the flute and saxophone and mellotron, his name was Ian MacDonald. He'd never been in a rock band before. He'd come directly from the military. He was in a military brass band. So he didn't know anything at all about being in a rock band, which was kind of refreshing in a way, because he had no preconceived idea of how it was, and so a lot of the things that he came up with were very original. And lastly, there was the drummer, Mike Giles. He was a very well-dressed English gentleman, fabulous drummer, fabulous, and still is actually. The best way I could describe Michael, he's like something out of the Great Gatsby. And finally, there was Pete Sinfield, who eventually became the band's lyricist. And Pete grew up in the circus, and so his mind was full of circus images. That's a lot of his songwriting. Had its roots in circus imagery. And so that was King Crimson. And I remember making the first record in the court of the Crimson King. And you heard a little bit of it at the start of the show with Schizoid Man. And I remember recording that track, Schizoid Man. It was right at the end of the album. And all of a sudden we realised we didn't have an album cover. And so, none of us knew anything at all about graphical art. So we said to Pete Sinfield, "Do you know anybody that could help?" He said, "I've got this friend." He said, "He's in a graphics company. I'll ask him." Anyway, a couple of days went by, and we were finishing off the track, Schizoid Man. And a knock came to the studio door. They let this young man in. And Pete said to him, "Barry, please come in, meet the band." And this young man called Barry Gobber, he came in to the studio, and he had a brown paper parcel under his arm, and it was tied up with string. And he came over and we met him. And he took a pair of scissors out of his pocket, and he cut the string, and he tore off the brown paper.
Oh,
That's the dropped on the floor.
Yeah.
That was the album cover.
Tony Clark produced it.
It was, of course, we were just stunned. It was an incredible image. And there was no debate about, is it the right album cover or not? Of course it was. But that's not the end of the story. The end of the story is that a few days after that, we got a phone call, and the young guy who did this, Barry Goldberg, at the age of 21 years old, dropped dead of a heart attack on the pavement.
Oh my God. Wow.
And of course we were absolutely shocked, totally stunned. And For a while, we didn't really know whether we should go ahead and use the cover or maybe not, you know. But in the end, we decided that it was so good, and as a tribute to him, you know, we decided to use it. And I'm so glad we did, because it is a wonderful work of art and a very enduring image.
Yeah.
So as a tribute to him, and because I like the song, I like to play one of the other songs off that album. It's called I Talk to the Wind.
Yeah.
Said the straight man to the late man, where have you been? I've been here and I've been there and I've been in between. I talk to the wind, my words are all carried away. I talk to the wind, the wind does not hear, the wind cannot hear. I'm on the outside, looking inside. What do I see? Much confusion, disillusion all around me. I talk to the wind, my words are all carried away. I talk to the wind, the wind does not hear, the wind cannot hear. You don't possess me, don't impress me, just upset my mind and instruct me, or conduct me, just use up my time. I talk to the wind, my words are all carried away. I talk to the wind does not hear, the wind cannot hear. Said the straight man to the late man, where have you been? I've been here and I've been there and I've been in